This is lesson 1.1, variables and expressions. The point of this lesson is to be able to convert words to expressions and expressions to words. Before we start, we might need to talk about what an expression is. The difference between an expression and an equation is that an equation has an equal sign. For example, 4x plus 3 equals 12. That's an equation. An expression would just be like a part of it. The 4x plus 3, for example. There's no equal sign there. This is an expression, and this is an equation. Sorry for my handwriting on that. I'm on an iPad right now, so I'm trying to figure this out as we go. But let's continue just with what we've got going on here. So if we're converting words to numbers and numbers to words, I'm going to need to define a few things. The answer to an addition problem is called the sum. And you might have heard that before, but we need to go through all of these because you're going to see them plenty today. The answer to a subtraction problem is the difference. The answer to a multiplication problem is the product. The answer to a division problem is the quotient. Okay, so that's where we're starting. Let's move down here into these problems here. The difference between 8 and W. The answer to this is going to be 8 minus W. The reason for that is I'm using the word difference here, which what we had up here, difference was subtraction, right? So those go together. And I'm also choosing to put the 8 in front of the W because that's the way it was written in the problem. It's the difference between 8 and W, so the 8 has to come first, the W has to come second. Let's move on to the next one. W divided by 4. This is pretty self-explanatory. You could just do W, oops, I'm still in my highlighter. W divided by 4, just like that. But another way to write it would be as a fraction. W divided by 4. Either of those work, and I always put the W first or on top in my fraction because it came first in the word problem. Twice B is my next one that I have. You could do this a couple different ways. The most common way, and the way that I prefer, is 2B. Twice really means 2 times. So 2 times B would look like that. Another way that I have seen this one written, though, would be like this. B plus B. You're adding B to itself 2 times, which is the same thing as multiplying it by 2, but that's also twice B. My preferred one is 2B, though. The product of 6 and X. Product, again, is a number that we have up here. Product is multiplication, so we're going to multiply these. 6, and now some people think you should put like a multiplication symbol between there. There's no need. When you have a number and a variable, you can just put it as 6x. Next one, 12 more than twice Janelle's age. When I see the word more than, that means addition to me. When I see the word twice, we've already done this one before, but when we said twice up here, we said that was like 2 times. That's still what this is right here. That's still 2 times. So, 12 more than was plus twice Janelle's age. 2 times Janelle's age. I'll just do the letter J for Janelle. If you wanted to switch that around and have 2J plus 12, you could do that as well. Either one works. 8 less than the product of 10 and a number. This is the toughest one. This is the one that you're going to have to pay the most attention to on here because it's got a trick to it. A lot of people think when you do 8 less than, it really means you're doing 8 minus. That's actually not the case. If I were just to say to you, and if you were to listen to this, if I said, what is 8 less than 10? The answer you're thinking of probably is 2. 8 less than 10 is 2. How do you get that? 10 minus 8. But I said 8 less than 10. Same thing applies to this problem. The 8 less than something means that that's going to get subtracted at the end. It's 8 less than something. What is that something? The product of 10 and a number. Well, the product is multiplying, so 10 and a number we'll call n. This is our final answer. The product of 10 and a number, and we're taking 8 away from it. That would be 8 less than the product of 10 and a number. Let's move on. Write a verbal expression for each algebraic expression. This is going backwards here. Right here we have 2m. You could write 2 times m, but I'd like to use these words up here if possible at the top that we wrote. Multiplication is product, so I'm going to use that. The product of 2 and m. You could also do the product of 2 and a number. I just wrote m because we already knew what it was. This one here, we have a fraction. It's really not that scary though, and honestly it looks a lot like number 6. We have two things being multiplied together and then subtracting something at the end. So let's make it similar to number 6. Number 6 says 8 less than the product of 10 and a number. This one would be 4 less than the product of 2/5 and r. This next one that we have, I'm just going to do 4 minus, we can use minus, and then we're doing dividing here, 9 divided by x. Well, we had a word up top for dividing, which was quotient. 4 minus the quotient of 9 and x. Let's continue. We're writing expressions now for word problems. Yesterday, Justin had 98 baseball cards. Today, he got D more. If you have baseball cards and you get more, the operation that you're using here is addition. We're using addition. If you have 98 baseball cards and we add on D more, that means we're adding more to our collection. That's it for that one. This one here isn't actually one that we test on or quiz on for a while. I just kind of put it on there to see where we're at, and I'll just go through it really quickly here. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because it's not something we're testing over anytime soon. We buy a new pair of shoes. They originally cost $85. Today they are 30% off. If they're 30% off today, that means that we're only paying 70% of the cost. 70% as a decimal is 0.7. Then we're going to take our $85 and multiply them. I'm multiplying 85 times 0.7. That's going to equal, I think this is right, $59.50. You can check my math on that. That's just an extra problem just to kind of see where we were at in class. If you didn't get that, that's okay. Don't focus on that one. Focus on everything up here that you can see right now. Thank you.